So much going on in the world of sports, and now we have it. Here we are, mid-March, and it's tournament time again. And this team right here, you've heard this for what? A decade? 2 decades? Gonzaga, one of these days Gonzaga is going to win a national championship. They are the number 1 overall seed in this 68 team. I got to get used to saying it. In this 68 team tournament, we got one of the best in the business joining us, Jeff Goodman. Jeff, and my first question for you is, and maybe even it's rhetorical, why shouldn't I pick Gonzaga to win the national championship? Because I'm certainly going to do that.
Because it is far more wide open than it was a year ago when it was Baylor, Gonzaga, and everybody else. And yes, this Gonzaga team is the favorite right now, Michael, but they're not that much better than some of the other teams. They've got fewer weaknesses than anybody else. Chet Holmgren's a top 3 pick, 7'1", skinny, but super talented on both ends of the court. Drew Timme, who we see there, is the most productive returning college basketball player in the country. They've got a point guard in Andrew Nembhard who just knows how to make people better. They've got talent, they've got experience, and they shoot the ball well from the perimeter. That was thought to be a weakness coming into the year. So I listen, I'm with you. I would say Gonzaga is the favorite, but it's not crazy to think that Gonzaga could lose in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 leading up to it. They're not that much better than some of these other teams.
It's hard to call a team a sleeper if everybody's calling them a sleeper. It kind of undermines the whole sleeper aspect of it. So Murray State isn't a sleeper now. And you win 30 games, you probably weren't a sleeper to begin with, especially to the people like you that watch it closely. So give me a sleeper, Jeff, that people are actually sleeping on, that based on everything you've seen, nobody's really talking about it. Like you for real haven't seen anybody talking enough about a certain team.
So Colorado State is the team. I saw them earlier this year in person, first time ever to Fort Collins, which is a cool little city. They've got 2 studs, guys. They've got a kid, Isaiah Stevens, who's a sophomore point guard, one of the top 10 point guards in the country, in my opinion. And listen, guys, this point guard group in college basketball is by far the worst I have ever seen since I've been covering college, even watching college basketball. So Isaiah Stevens, one of the better ones, that's going to give them an advantage. Their best player is a kid named David Roddy. He's like 6'5.5", 250, probably going to be an NFL tight end more than an NBA player. Great footwork, tough matchup nightmare, has come out. He can shoot the ball now from the perimeter. So they've got, in my opinion, 2 of the probably top 30 or so players in the country on their team. I think they can create some problems this year in the NCAA tournament.
I got to admit to you, I've been mad. I've been mad at the basketball establishment for a few weeks now. So just to let you know, Tommy Amaker's a friend. Okay, that's a friend of mine. So I'm just gonna put my bias out there.
Yeah.
I hate it. Ian O'Connor, the excerpt from his book on Duke and Krzyzewski. I hate the story that Duke, the powers that be, recommended that Tommy be the next head coach at Duke, and Krzyzewski talked him out of it. I just can't believe it. So I root against Duke. I'm rooting against all of their opponents. I root for all their opponents. I'm glad Virginia Tech won the ACC. I didn't want Duke to win it. But my biases aside, how far do you think Duke, star-studded team, probably got 4 or 5 first-round picks on that roster, how far can we expect Duke to go this year?
I mean, they've been awful lately defensively. I was there last week when Carolina beat them on Coach K, Gush Fest day. And Carolina, not very good this year, let's be honest. I mean,
sound like you hating on them too a little bit. You weren't feeling them either, huh?
I've had my issues with K. Listen, I've had my issues with K over the years. We're good now, but I get it. I get it, Michael. The only thing I'll say to that is, listen, Coach K, no matter what was recommended, it didn't matter. Coach K was handpicking whoever the hell he wanted as the next head coach. Let's be honest. But defensively, getting back to Duke, they're not very good. They've regressed. And again, they've got the talent, but they're young. They're young at certain spots. Paulo Banchero, again, a top 3-4 pick probably at the end of the day in the NBA draft coming up here in June. Point guard play, I'm all about, if you ever hear me, it's always point guard play when it comes in March. and I don't trust their point guard play. It's just not good enough for my liking for them to win 6 straight. However, Coach K is going to get a few calls in this tournament, isn't he?
Yeah, more than likely. Let me ask you this. Setting aside favorites, sleepers, seeds, snubs, just as a storyteller, man, I just love to know who you think is the best story of this men's NCAA tournament, team or individual.
I mean, we talked about 2, right? The easy ones are Gonzaga and Duke, right? K's last hurrah, and Gonzaga finally potentially winning one. I'll give you one. It's my alma mater. It's Arizona, and there's a lot of tentacles to it, right? I mean, Sean Miller gets fired. He's embroiled in the whole federal investigation, which, oh, by the way, I was at ESPN when the story broke on Sean Miller, and I'll say it publicly, I think they got it wrong. Now, again, I'm not saying Sean Miller was innocent in all of it, but again, I think they screwed up the story. Anyway, they fired Sean Miller last year. Tommy Lloyd, the assistant for Mark Few, the coach in waiting at Gonzaga, takes over for Sean Miller. He inherits a really good group of international guys. The only reason those international guys are there is because Sean Miller no longer recruit top 50 domestic players because they're under the NCAA investigation. It's dragging along. Tommy Lloyd keeps them all because he has been known as an international recruiter while he was at Gonzaga, getting a ton of guys, Sabonis, you name it. So he takes over, and they've kind of figured this thing out. Ben Mathurin has been awesome, sophomore. Tubelis, tough as hell as a sophomore from Lithuania. Kirk Kriisa, guys, you got to watch this kid. I don't know if he's going to play, but he is as much fun of a trash talker, point guard. He sprained his ankle real bad. He showed me the picture the other day and he said, "You can't post it." I said, "Fine." He posted it last night after the you should see the picture of his ankle.
You can't post it. I want the likes.
Yeah, and he did. But he's awesome. He talks more crap than anybody I've seen in years. He says he's going to play this week, and my take is, if I'm Tommy Lloyd, there's no way in hell I'm playing this kid in the 1-16 game. I'm going to give him another day or 2 off there, but they need him healthy. They can win it all for the first time since 1997, 25 years later, from the Miles Simon, Mike Bibby national title squad.
All right, no shortage of great stories and controversial
I lost money
stories.
in that game. Don't bring that up. I lost money. We got coaches being fired right ahead of the NCAA tournament. Speaking of Will Wade at LSU. Hey, Jeff Goodman, no days off for you, man. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for making the time for us. And let's connect again as this tournament rolls on. We appreciate the knowledge. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.